Hello and welcome to our My Advantage 365 video training series.
Today we'll be discussing how to transfer a rental fleet between locations. First, we'll look at an asset we would like to transfer. So let's open the Fleet Management navigation pane and make sure our fixed asset list is selected. And I'm going to open our fixed asset card for 277, which is a Dell Inspiron 8500 notebook. In our Posting Fast tab, I'm going to focus on the location and the branch codes. We see that this piece of equipment is currently located in our Boston branch, specifically the rental location. Before we start the transfer, there's one more thing I want to mention. Transferring assets from one location to another can be done in either 2 steps or a single step. With this first method, the transfer is split up into 2 parts, the shipment and the receipt. The shipment transaction is created by someone from the branch the unit is coming from, and the receipt is processed by a member of the receiving branch. The second method is the shipment and the receipt take place in one step. This is usually used when recording a transfer after it occurred, or when units that are being transferred between locations are close in proximity and the transfer takes place quickly. Now I'm going to open our transfer/reclass journal. So let me close my fixed asset card, and in our top right universal search bar, I'm just going to start typing transfer and find our transfer/reclass journal. And let me maximize it so I can see all of my columns. So the first thing we'll notice in the transfer/reclass journal is the ability to change batches. The reason for this is to prevent a branch from processing transfers for another branch. Make sure you're in the batch that represents your location before proceeding. So I'm going to select our Boston branch, since that's where the asset is located. Now to begin filling out the transfer/reclass journal. Starting with the posting date, this date represents the date that this part of the transaction is occurring. So for this example, I'm just going to use today's date, which is December 4th. For our document type, we're going to select our transfer, and our document number will automatically populate. This will create a unique number that is used for tracking each unit in the journal. The transaction type field is only used when the document type is transfer. The value you choose depends on whether the transfer is performed in 2 steps or 1. Choose shipment to record a unit leaving your location, or choose receipt to record the unit being received into your location. Leave the field blank to record both the shipment and the receipt at the same time. For this example, I'm going to choose my shipment method. In the fixed asset number field, we will enter in the unit that is being transferred. I'm just going to actually open up my list. And I'm just going to filter on my asset 277. And once I click OK, we will see that some information has automatically populated for us. Our fixed asset description, as well as our from location, and our from dimension, that was entered on the fixed asset card. The next thing we need to do is choose the to location. This represents the location that the unit is being moved to. So from a list, I'm just going to choose my Hartford rental location. And if I tab over, and selecting that will automatically bring in our dimension code assigned to that location. Lastly, we can enter in an expected receipt date, where this is the date we expect the unit to arrive to the receiving branch. And I'm just going to use tomorrow's date. Now we're ready to preview and post the journal. But before that, I want to point out a couple things that are found in the journal in the Navigate ribbon. So let's go up to the Navigate ribbon. So we can see our dimensions for the asset. If I close out of here, we can go to our fixed asset card. And if I close this, we can also see our transfer ledger entries that have been previously posted. I'm just going to go back to our journal and into our home ribbon. Now we can review the test report. So I hit the test report button, and I'm just going to hit preview. And now this is going to generate our test report so we can review before we decide to post. This is useful when there are multiple entries in the journal that need to be reviewed before posting. So let's look at this. Here we can see the information that we had entered in the journal, the unit number, where it's coming from, and where it's going to. Once we confirm the information is correct, we can go ahead and post and print the journal. So let me close out of my test report, and I'm going to hit my post and print button. The reason I'm choosing to post and print the journal is it will automatically print the transfer register. This is useful documentation to provide to the driver that accompanies the unit being transferred. So I'm just going to hit yes. And then I will have confirmation that the journal lines were successfully posted. So I'm going to hit OK. Now let's go back to our fixed asset card. Close out of here, reopen 277. And now if we look at the location code, it represents our transfer internal location. But the branch code is still assigned to Boston. This is based on setups for equipment transfers. Now if we go up to our navigate ribbon and into our transfer ledger entries, which are created every time a transfer takes place, we can see the one entry that shows the shipment part of the transaction that we just posted. Now let's pretend the unit has arrived at a new location. So I'm just going to close out of our entries and our fixed asset card, and I'm going to go back into our transfer reclass journal. So let me look that up. Transfer. And I'm going to switch journal batches as though I'm a member of the receiving branch. So I'm going to choose Hartford, and OK. And I'm also going to use tomorrow's date since that's when we expected to receive in the asset. When I see the unit in the yard and I have documentation from the driver, I'm going to choose the document type of transfer. My transaction type is going to be receipt. And doing so will allow me to look up the fixed asset number field. And now instead of seeing a list of all of the units, I see open shipments only. I can use my filter for to location, so I'm only seeing the units that are supposed to be coming into my branch. In this case, it would be NE-HR-RNT, which is our Hartford rental branch. And I can easily see and select the asset that I want to receive in. You can see the information now from the shipment entry, the to and the from locations. Now I'm going to post this journal. This time I won't need the transfer register, so I'm just going to hit our post button. And then let's hit yes. And the journal lines were posted successfully, and I'm going to hit OK. Now if we go back into our fixed asset card, close out of the journal, open up 277, we can see the location and branch now represent the Hartford location. You may also notice that the book value has changed from $500. This is because the depreciation was calculated before moving the unit from one location to another. Let's also look at the transfer ledger entries. So let's go into our navigate ribbon, transfer ledger entries, and now we'll see the receipt that we just posted. I should also point out that if a transfer was a mistake, you can use the cancel entries option from the home ribbon. Upon canceling the entry, it will move into the error transfer ledger entries, so we have an audit trail of this unit. Now let's do a final example that takes place all in one step. So I'm going to close out of here and this fixed asset card, and I'm going to be looking at a different unit. We're going to look at our unit number 281. Open up the fixed asset card for 281. And here we'll see this asset resides in Hartford. What we'll do now is go back into our transfer reclass journal. open the batch for the Hartford branch and select Hartford. And OK. And I'll use our current date for our transfer. So today's date of the 4th. My document type is going to be transfer. And for this situation, I'm going to leave the transaction type blank. This will perform the shipment and the receipt at the same time. In our fixed asset list, I'm going to find Unit 281. And hit OK. And I'm going to select which branch I want to transfer it to. So in my to location, I'm actually going to send this, and in this case, I'm going to send it out to our Providence sales location. And because I know the transaction has already taken place, I don't need to fill in the expected receipt date. And I'm going to hit our post button, and I'm going to confirm to post the journal lines. And now we have confirmation the journal is posted. And I'm going to hit OK. Now if we go back into our fixed asset card, I can see the location and the branch has now changed to Providence instead of Hartford. Again, if I look at my book value, we can see that it's not $600 anymore. Now I can look at the transfer ledger entries by going back to Navigate ribbon, Transfer Ledger Entries, and we only see a single transaction because the shipment and the receipt took place at the same time, which is also why the transaction type is blank. Again, if this is a mistake, you can always use your Cancel Entries option and send this into your Error Transfer Ledger Entries. This concludes our video for transferring equipment between locations.
This concludes our video. Be sure to watch all the videos in RMI's training series to help make your job easier and to make you a more efficient user of the Vantage 365.